Welcome back to the Totally Legitimate Business Podcast, where we're just trying to find the scam that works for us. I'm James. I'm going to toss it off to Clint.
Hi, I'm Clint. Welcome to episode number 3, is it?
Number 3, yep.
Trifecta.
Number 3.
And speaking of threes, we got a special guest today. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Preston, and I want to figure out what it means to be totally legit. You know, to be honest, I don't think I've ever done it before. Everything I've been has been mostly legit, but let's
partially
see
legit.
Partially legit. I want to see what does it mean to be totally legit, and I think like the topic we have for today is totally legit.
Well, Preston, you know, you came to the right place because we're on a never-ending quest to be the most legit.
Yeah,
and to be too legit to quit.
Yeah. And
in our name, go ahead.
I've been a big fan of the podcast. I've seen all the episodes. I think I might be the number one fan.
You may be the only fan. Yeah. You might be the only single fan.
I think I've commented more than anybody else, that's for sure.
100%. Yeah, that's 100% verified.
OnlyFans to us is just a picture of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of OnlyFans, I subscribe to both you guys, so thanks for the content. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm just gonna give you a spoiler warning. Buttholes. It's a lot of buttholes.
Seen them. Yep.
So anyone else who wants to be a guest, all you have to do is watch and then just comment once in the live chat message board, and then you get an invite.
That's all I had to do. It's really that easy. It's totally legit.
Yeah, totally. I mean, our name implies that we cannot have any bit of it that isn't legit. Otherwise, we're not, it's false advertising. Legally, we're responsible. All right. So, we're going to bring up a subject that I know everyone just wants to talk about. It's a hot topic. There's a lot of hot topics out there right now. The Queen just died. There's
Jolly
probably
old Queen.
Jolly old Queen's dead. There's probably some other crazy bullshit. But today, we're going to talk about aliens. Oh. So I don't know if there's necessarily like one particular scam about the alien thing, or if like the whole thing is a scam, or we're being scammed to believe that there aren't aliens. That's kind of where I want to begin here. Preston, tell us a little bit of your thoughts on, and again, I don't know how deep you are into the conspiracy lore or any of that shit, but what are your thoughts on this subject?
Yeah. So I do think that a lot of it is not totally legit, and I hope that we can figure that out today. So I'll tell you my thought, right? I don't really subscribe to a lot of the conspiracy theories, although I find them entertaining. I do think that the universe is so massive, like maybe infinitely massive, that there must be Earth-like planets, or planets that are places that can sustain life, like Earth sustain life. Now the question I think becomes like, well, is there like advanced aliens, right? And when if I was to say, all right, I think that answer is yes, I subscribe to the notion that we live in a universe that consists of like a dark forest. And that analogy is that like in the dark, in the jungle, like all the creatures out there, they're there, but they don't want to be found, right? Because everyone's out to get everyone. Like to survive, you have to stay hidden. And I think that's where, if there are like super advanced aliens, they're out there and watching and hiding from us, because that's the only way they're going to survive, or have survived that long.
I mean, when I'm out and about, I also don't want to be found. So I completely understand that sentiment.
Yeah. And I think a lot of these, like we see sightings, like UFOs and stuff. I don't know. Some of them I want to believe it, right? It's really interesting. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Is there like a specific incident or something recent that's triggered the topic of aliens? Have you been recently abducted?
Probed? Anally probed?
Yeah. I mean, based on your OnlyFans account, everything's looking good, but just wondering.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Only a little bit prolapse.
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say that everybody with a microphone on this. We all believe that extraterrestrials do exist in some capacity. Exactly what that means to each of us will probably break down throughout the next few minutes, but I don't think that there's anybody. I don't think there's anybody in my life who I consider to be intelligent life who doesn't believe in intelligent life out there. So, um, sorry to break it down too quickly, but if you believe in aliens, you automatically kind of denounce most world religions, right? To an extent.
Yeah.
And most people I know are not religious. So even if they're, they don't necessarily believe in, the gray alien race or whatever, they're at least open to the idea of it. So I generally like to keep those people in orbit around me.
Yeah. Oh.
What do you guys think about the idea like that they're like the end for every like advanced civilization or advanced species, like aliens or humans, whatever, ends in it some form of demise, right? Like how many extinctions have been or Earth has been through, like where everything's been totally wiped out and rebuilt from something new, or maybe these advanced societies imploded on themselves, destroyed themselves, invented nuclear weapons, and couldn't agree. And everyone blew each other up.
Yeah.
You know?
Or just what are all these abandoned ancient civilizations that look to be rather advanced, but we just excavate the ruins, however many thousands of years later.
Yeah, well, okay, so I'm of two minds there. That's like one divergence. So there is a piece of me that's like, wow, these ancient societies could do all this crazy shit. Wow. They could never have done it without help. But then I'm also inclined to believe this is all that these people did. They lived and worked on that land for thousands of years. So of course they mastered all the shit that was around them, and they mastered how to, I don't know about the crazy theory that the capstone of the pyramid was arcing electricity off of it, but they had at least an advanced understanding enough of construction and the materials that they're using to construct to do a lot of that shit. I don't know. Like I'm willing to entertain the idea that there's some kind of connection there, but I'm also of the mind that like this is all they did. Of course they got good at it. Over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, of course they got really good at it.
So wait, so you're saying that if I didn't spend 40 plus hours a week working for somebody else, that I could get so in touch with that life in the universe that I could begin to start deciphering some of these codes and crack some of these things?
Oh, maybe. The other interesting thing too is like the collapse. And I think that to me is just like another life cycle thing. All life on this planet goes through that bell curve where they, their population wanes and waxes, and for a period of time they're on top, and then a period of time they're not on top. And I think that, anything, at least life on this earth, anything, whether it's a natural occurring system or a man-made system, is like doomed to just the rise and fall. It's like you can't, and in order for something new to emerge, the other thing has to collapse anyway. So I don't really know.
All good things come to an end.
Yeah, right. Something like that. Something like that.
So
something like that.
Do you think that the human race is confined to Earth, right? Like what I was thinking was, you're saying that is like, all right, well, we are reaching like peak of society and filling this planet, maybe coming up to its capacity at some point, and then either we'll be stuck with that and die off slowly or maybe quickly because we've exhausted our resources, or maybe expanded beyond our solar system, beyond our planet. Do you think that's something, like, what do you think about that? Like, are we confined to Earth, or can we escape?
Well, there's definitely people that are trying to fix that. I also don't necessarily.
Space billionaires.
Yeah, that. But see, in the same way that they have their contingency for if shit went down terrestrially, they all go to the bunker. That it really is looking like that's the way out for when the super wealthy think about how they would navigate that. It's like, well, we'll just go to Mars. If we fuck this planet up, we'll just go to Mars. I don't know if, honestly, Americans don't have the gumption to colonize space. That's like a whole other component that I think it's like super cute to think, let's go to the moon, let's go to Mars, and let's do this shit. But there's like a deep psychological component to venturing out into the vast, into the void, into the nothingness. I mean, most astronauts and definitely people who are making trips to Mars, they're going to have to go under intense psycho evaluation. It's like a whole, there's also this thing too that astronauts talk about. It's called like the overview effect or something. It's like when you're an astronaut and you see the planet Earth from outside planet Earth and you like look at it, it completely fucks up your perspective on it's like the introduction into the meaninglessness of your existence in the
not to weave
vast universe around you.
Too much sci-fi into this, but it wasn't that like what are they called, reavers from Battlestar Galactica, where just people that just saw the edge of space and went insane, and then just like they just become nihilistic, crazy cannibals. Yeah, like
can't blame them. I can't blame them.
I don't like being alone for like 30 minutes by myself usually.
It would be intense, like going out into the fucking. And especially like the first couple dozen years of us doing that, like those people are just signing a death warrant.
What's kind of interesting is we're talking about this as like the rich and the wealthy will be the ones to escape. And I think in history, you had these like explorers where they were wealthy or had the backing of like the king or whoever.
Yeah.
But there was always the expectation that you would return. Like these are, I don't know, paid swords or whatever. When you're blasting off into the unknown and pioneering and saying, this is, we're never coming back. Like what good is money, right? Like you're not wealthy anymore because you don't have, endless
money.
supplies. Everyone's on even playing field. So
the American dollar doesn't transfer to Mars, right?
Right.
Yeah. Your billions of dollars or like Amazon stock or whatever it is, it's worthless out there. And
the ability to grow food. That's your currency.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder if that's like, I feel like the rich will send the poor first and kind of get things set up.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Right? Yeah. No. That's what I mean. Like I see that in the back of my mind, I see that's the plan here. Like let's get a bunch of volunteers to forage all the get all the 3D printers built. And then once the 3D printers are built and can build the colony autonomously, then I'll go out there and check on it.
Yeah, and put my name on them because it's mine.
Because it's mine.
And you built it, but it's mine. Yeah. I paid for it.
We're gonna rebrand Mars Muskville. Musktown.
Yeah.
But this is just like a really quick side note. I've been watching a lot of like really intense 3D printing shit, and one of the things I saw get 3D printed was a gas tank for a rocket. Like 3D printing
anything.
It's about to get like really fucking crazy with what 3D printing can do.
That's wild. Like what this, I guess, is some sort of like metal alloy material. It's not the plastic, right?
No. It's like it can actually hold rocket fuel and be launched into space. But
if you can 3D print guns, you could definitely just take that same technology and scale it into something that could propel that fast, right?
They 3D print houses out of concrete. It takes a couple weeks, but they go around on a track, build it layer by layer, and then you have this mud house, concrete house. Interesting.
What a time to be alive.
Affordable housing. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to print a phone stand like for my phone at my desk, and I failed miserably. It's not as easy as it's not like you can just plug it in. It's like you have like a 50% chance that that it gets messed up like right away, and then you have like a 30% chance that it makes it beyond to the end, like either run out of filament or it gets goofed up once, and then you just get like a mess of
Yeah.
of stringy, gooey plastic. So I don't know if I'd be riding a rocket that was 3D printed.
Yeah,
At least not
I
right away.
not right away. No, let's give it a couple more years
Yeah,
for sure.
If anybody has any really great 3D printing means or abilities, hit us up. We would really like to be friends with you, or pick your brain, or get you to make affordable housing for us. I'm gonna be a
Yeah.
homeowner one day,
Yeah,
on
definitely.
Mars or
On
Musk.
Mars.
Yeah.
On
Yeah,
Musk.
for sure. On Muskville.
Is Mars even a good planet to go to? Like,
It's the
probably the best
closest.
in
it's
our
the
solar system,
closest. Yeah, but like, I guess progress is like, okay, if we can do like a little bit on Mars, and then we have that, technology to survive for 6 months or a year in space without resupply. That's, I think, like getting to Mars, I think, is turning out to be a lot harder than we thought it would be, and that's what's taking so long, because it's been what, like 50, 60 years since the moon. Like, we should be on our way to Mars by now, but it's a lot harder than we thought.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and it's just recently that like it became relatively affordable to do this shit, like very recently. For the longest time, it was like the most expensive endeavor, and they just couldn't justify spending the money on it. Or at least for like public NASA, we were definitely launching shit into space the entire time. Spy satellites, all sorts of like shit to aid in drone technology. But, NASA wasn't sending people to the moon for a nice little dance around.
NASA needs to come out and make a public apology, because we all thought we'd be there by now.
Yeah, they really do need to
Yeah.
own up for that.
They could like ease the blow and have like Jared Leto come out and just be like, "Hey, I told everybody it was 30 seconds to Mars. It's actually way longer than that."
See, that would really quell.
Soften the blow, right?
Yeah, I
But-
feel a lot better if they said that, for sure.
It's funny that we're talking about this too, because then we're getting to the point of the conversation where it's like, all right, well, humans leave Earth and they colonize a little bit further out into space. Do we at some point become the aliens to another race that we discover, or another planet with beings on it? But what I think is interesting about it is, you're totally right, Preston. It's turning out to be way harder than we thought. And it's turning out to be not necessarily a big enough priority in the people who could really, streamline that process. Their priorities are elsewhere. But it's just crazy. Like, do we need to leave the planet? Why do we want to leave the planet? Why is it like a human thing to conquer? Or why is it a being thing to conquer? I guess we haven't met enough beings from around the rest of the universe to understand if it's like a common trait or behavior. But
I think the main interest there is like curiosity, right? Like, it would be amazing to be able to go to another planet and live there and like do research that, like, beyond what robots can do, because they're super slow. But also, it's like an insurance policy for mankind, right? For humans. If we run out of the finite resources and we haven't solved, technology that we are no longer reliant on those, like, we will die off. Like, if it's something we needed that we're overpopulated, just nice to have another option somewhere else to go.
Well,
Yeah.
I think at this point it's pretty clear to most. I think a lot of scientists would agree that like the Earth is fucked. Like, we've ruined it. We're pretty much past the point of, at least within a reasonable amount of time or lifetimes or whatever, to renew all of this, right? Like, we've
crossed the threshold. Yeah,
There's
for sure. We
plastic
crossed the
everywhere.
threshold.
Yeah, like holes in the ozone layer, etc. It's time to go, or something else is gonna happen. And not to change gears too much, but what if, like you were saying before, if we were the aliens on another planet, are we a science experiment, right? Like, were we given certain technology and certain technological advances to see what we would do with them, or given this knowledge, and then we just we messed it up.
Fucked it all up. So, yeah, okay, this is you're knocking on the next door I wanted to get into. So now we've come to the general understanding of we accept that it's a possibility of the stories that you have heard, because there's so many goddamn everyone has an alien story. There's a million conspiracies. There's a conspiracy for every hour of the day about this shit. What are some of the the goofiest or the clearly most bullshit ones that you guys have heard over your time?
Anything by Dr. Chuck Tingle is pretty good. And he's the guy who writes really crazy space erotica, like space raptors coming to Earth.
Wait, those aren't real?
I don't think so.
It's fiction.
They take place in the future, which hasn't happened yet, so we can't really prove it.
That's why we don't know. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Right. So we won't know until 2035, which is, I don't know, pretty close. But it sounds a little silly,
I honestly feel like all that Area 51 hype is a little silly. I know there's a lot that goes into it, but and who knows, maybe it could just be one of those things where they made it public knowledge so people would just screw it up with misinformation and kookiness and whatever, and try to raid Area 51.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But yeah, I don't know, that always just seemed a little strange to me, where they're we have alien remains. It's like, I don't think you do, they might. I don't know anything, right? I'm just here taking what I know from pop culture and the limited resources that I have. If I had a nice 3D printer, I'd already be long gone, suckers. So.
I'd be on Mars, motherfucker.
Yeah,
growing potatoes.
Have you guys heard the theory that we're a science experiment from aliens, and they're kind of watching us, and that now that we've kind of gone too far with just nuclear weapons and technology like that these alien sightings and probing and them coming to see what we're doing is becoming more frequent? Have you heard this before?
Yeah, I think I was alluding to that a little bit ago, where just, if so let's say the ancient astronaut theory is true, which, assuming most of you can get a really basic version of it on whatever, Ancient Aliens or whatever,
History
just
Channel.
Basic, really basic overview with a bunch of kooks with cool hair talking about it. But yeah, I mean, if they had been visiting us and had interfered with life, or we were some kind of experiment, right, where all of a sudden there's a jump in evolution to where all of a sudden we're hairless apes walking upright and doing all these things, and building wheels and fire and all this other stuff. I absolutely believe that humans are some kind of experiment that could have evolved from some either ancient weird alien hanky panky, or just some kind of weird test tube situation to where we just got dropped off, right? And we're basically just told to live in this world, and here's how you do it, but we screwed it up along the way, and they're just tracking progress. And now we're just getting probed in fields and getting abducted.
Tight. Yeah, I love that. Well,
sounds legit.
Yes, that's super legit. One of my favorite threads that you get down is okay, so let's assume a couple things. Let's assume that metaphorically a god could be anything that is just above humanity, right? And back in the years of old, maybe the mentions of gods were not of human-like creatures in the clouds, but beings that were above humanity, beyond this world. There's this hilarious thread where the Immaculate Conception of Christ is, alien artificial insemination, and the bloodline of Christ has been so tightly protected through the course of time to preserve that secret. Like there's a lot of funny shit. That doesn't necessarily mean we're like an experiment, but kind of the petri dish theory to me is one that is highly believable. Like I'm okay. I can entertain that. That's not too far out there for me. I guess I probably do. It's like the creatures crawling out and fighting humans. That's where I kind of draw the line. That to me feels like somebody just read a fucking fantasy book. Like there's a couple people out there in the conspiracy zone that talk about like all the specific type of creatures, but that's where it just gets too fucking kooky for me. A little too descriptive. We can't be that descriptive. We need a little more tangible evidence.
Yeah, like if you're like, okay, well, there's X accounts of, long, tall, slender, gray creatures or whatever. But yeah, and then they're like, and then here, no, these are the Pleiadians. They have tentacles, angel-like wings. It's like, how? Yeah. What are you doing? What are you smoking? I'll have what he's having.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to blast off.
Yeah. You want to see aliens? I'll show you aliens.
Yeah, every small town has that guy.
Definitely.
Oh, that's Earl. He lives down at the other end of town. Don't worry about him. He's buying up all the aluminum foil at the grocery store,
Got to make the hats, dude. Got to make the hats. Got to protect your brainwaves. And that's another thing that's always cracked me up about the whole alien conversation too, is like, even like something like Independence Day. We're going to fight aliens. You're telling me humans are going to fight an intergalactic species.
We talked on the last podcast of like humans can't even fight the government. Like
we're not gonna fucking stand a chance against a superior. And kind of going back to what you were saying before, Preston, too. Like they live in the shadows. They don't need to interact. How often, when you walk past an anthill, do you stop and try and talk to the ants? It's not a thing I do more than like 3 or 4 times a week just to see, because you never know.
You make the choice of either I'll let them be, they're not harming anybody, or like
I'm gonna kick the fuck out of this anthill,
or hey, watch this, like poke them, get them on the stick,
burn them with a magnifying glass.
Wow, you sick fuck. No. But yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, right? Yeah, would they even care? Like apps, that we might not even be some experiment that they care about, like for people to even think that they would spend that time to come and abduct people and do tests and stuff. Like they might just be like, well, what are these hairless apes doing?
It's
cute, right? Like
it's so funny for humans to even think like we would have any fucking say in that. And we're so easily fooled. Something that has always blown my mind is like we only hear so much of the spectrum. We only see so much of the spectrum. We only interact tangibly with so much of the spectrum. But the other shit is there. Like what if there's some shit all around us right now that we can't see? I mean, there really is, like the electromagnetic waves flying around us. That'd be like a swirly, watery pool around us, but we just can't see it. So, I don't know. I don't think that was totally legit. It didn't totally legitimately prove aliens. So
wait,
we're throwing it out.
You guys can't see that? I thought that's what those glasses were for, James.
Yeah, actually, the blue stuff in the lenses, those are aliens. The aliens are telling me what to say right now. They're gonna kill me if I don't.
That's why Robert De Niro wears those at casinos.
Yeah. Definitely, he can spot the aliens.
To just go off on like a different topic just for a second about the glasses.
Hold on, we gotta talk about the glasses.
We gotta talk about this. Just something interesting I learned, I think, today or yesterday. I work in the computer science field and in cybersecurity. And something that people have been talking about today is like operational security, keeping your things in order. We saw like the Rockstar gaming company get one of their employees got compromised. A lot of the game was leaked. And what's in the topic of this industry today is like, how do these things happen? And one of the things they said is that we have AI that's so advanced that they can see what's in James's screen through his glasses right now and find like URLs and things that are sensitive information and leak that out. And I just thought that was like really fascinating. Like maybe aliens are looking in the stream and looking at James's glasses and getting that information.
I'm getting fucking hacked by aliens.
Getting hacked by aliens right now.
AI stands for alien intelligence.
Yes. Alien insertion. That's
alien insertion. That is definitely what my AI is going to stand for sure.
I mean, James, you're lucky. Some people have to pay for that. Like those
you're
weird.
Right. You're totally right.
Weird furry conventions. I'm sure you've seen the special toys they make with the gelatin balls, the getting egged.
That's a whole other show right there.
That's
Furries.
a whole other world. Yeah, that's next week.
There's like the legend that John Mayer's like an ardent furry. He's like a serious.
What celebrities do you think might be aliens?
Ooh.
Taylor Swift is an alien for sure.
Definitely, yeah.
She does kind of look like the thing from Splice, and nobody ever agrees with me.
No, she does for
Splice,
sure. Yeah. Definitely. See, that's a good one too, because it's like there are so many that could be aliens. David Bowie's like one of those, and he was always saying some otherworldly shit. But then again, would an alien want to be like a human, and on top of that a celebrity? Would an alien want to do that? Because being a celebrity is a decidedly human pastime, right? I guess for all we know.
True.
But
yeah, wouldn't you just want to go under the radar, right? Like
the question is who if the aliens were going to take over, right? Who would you want to be an alien to most effectively control? Like who would be able to scam everyone the best? Kim Kardashian. I feel like Kim Kardashian is like rappers, yeah, sure, too. Kanye, but I just think he's legitimately on his own.
He did talk about being the king of Earth, so maybe that's part of the alien plan to take over Earth.
He's going galactic for sure. Yeah.
The Beastie Boys, intergalactic.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, there's something to be said about hiding in plain sight. Like, oh, he can't be an alien because he's talking about it so casually. Like, alien would never do that. Could be an alien.
That's exactly just what
do, right?
Exactly. It's exactly what they want from you.
Or like, the people who think that our government has been infiltrated by the, the reptilians or, whatever that may be. What are your
Illuminati
thoughts?
Confirmed.
Illuminati confirmed. What are your thoughts on that? Did you see their eyes blink both ways?
Oh my God. It's like a reptile, dude.
I don't know. Couldn't say. Last night, I think a plane like flew over my house and it rattled really crazy, and I have this sparkle pear on my face. I think it was alien.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you might want to check to make sure you didn't get probed.
How would I check?
Serious question. Do any of you ever feel like you've had a real extraterrestrial encounter?
Ooh.
No, I can't say I have.
So you don't even know if you're a true believer. But I appreciate you just exploring this with us, though. James, what about you?
I mean, I for sure have seen some strange shit. I don't necessarily think it was aliens, but I saw some shit that did not make sense to me when I saw it, and it really still doesn't now.
Was it like the classic like orb in the
It-
sky, cigar shaped steel?
So there's like these things that are seen all around the globe, and they're like clusters of metallic looking orbs, right? And Zach Mount, my old neighbor, was always watching the sky, always showing me videos of the helicopters flying over and these orbs. And I'm like, dude, I don't even know how you're captured. Where are you recording all this shit?
Here's where it gets hard though, because like all that information you're giving me, that guy used to wear hemp suspenders.
No. Hear me out. This is important. This is important to the story. So with that backstory, one day I'm out painting some shit in my driveway, and Zach comes running across the street, and he's like, dude, look up. And we look up, and we see like a couple metal balls flying a couple hundred feet in the sky. And then all of a sudden, like a bunch more materialize around it, and they're just moving along, and then they disappear. And it was the weirdest shit I've ever seen, and I don't know what the hell it was, but I know that after that, going on the internet, I found that there's like a whole, all around the world, people see this shit. There was recently some sightings like that in New York. There's just a bunch all over. There's tons of video, tons in Mexico. I don't necessarily think that, again, I don't think it's aliens, but like the reason I'm so 50-50 on all the alien shit is because I don't know if we have alien craft, if we have alien bodies, if we're, if we've been infiltrated by aliens. What I do know is that our government has spent a shit ton of money on space defense, and they have since the 80s and before then. But it's serious. Like, we've got some shit up there that none of us really know what it looks like, because it's so classified. We've never fucking seen it, and none of us look up anymore anyway, because we're too busy looking at our fucking phones. We can't even look up to see this shit in the sky. So like when I see some shit like that in the sky, and then I see it everywhere else, I'm less inclined to think it's aliens and more inclined to think it's just some like super exotic technology that is up there that we don't know. We don't know. But
yeah,
that was like my experience.
Yeah, the government might have that technology. I had a freak
sure.
out like that the other day too, but it turned out to be whatever that Elon Musk satellite is over Seattle with like the long string of lights.
Starlink.
I just didn't even think about it, and I was downtown and I looked up at the sky and I was just like, yo, what the fuck is that? Yeah, and everybody around me, I was like, yo, are you seeing this? Like, I had to check and just make sure I wasn't like going crazy. No, and then they're like, oh yeah, it might be this. And I was like, oh, well, that sucks. But also, yeah, that's crazy technology for humans to have, that like, if we didn't know about it, right? Like, wasn't thinking about it. So I was like, holy shit. Like, first thing that came to my mind was like, oh yeah, that's for sure aliens. They're here. Here we go.
Yeah.
I was a little bummed out when I found out it was just like,
yeah, definitely was a huge letdown for sure.
I got real excited. I just went back to work instead.
Yeah. No, we shut down once. We're not going to shut down again, buddy.
We can't afford to, right?
Okay. So here's one. If like we were to witness aliens and humans officially like publicly make contact, how would you guys want to see it go down? You want it to be Mars attacks? You want it to be Avatar? You want it to be fucking like, peace doves and everything?
Not Avatar for sure. I don't even know what that like. They're just here for the unobtainium.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Like
Mars
when I think about this, like my mind goes to the like optimistic case. Like I want to know what's out there, right? But why would they be here? I'm suspicious. It doesn't sound legit. They might be coming here for the unobtainium or something. Dirt, I don't know, whatever. But
I feel like it would be like an Independence Day situation where they would just kind of show up and then just be like, oh yeah, well, we're gonna take what we need or do whatever, and then just start blowing shit up because they don't need it. We're just matter in the way.
Well,
but also, does Earth, if it was to be destroyed, what would that do to the gravity of our solar system and outwards from there, right? Probably not a lot
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things, but
Yeah, for sure.
in the solar system at least, right?
It's
Well,
just like, why would they come out of hiding, right? I still subscribe to this dark forest theory. Like they're only going to make themselves revealed when they like need food or like some sort of
absolutely
resource,
need to.
something
Yeah.
that's like, because it's a really big risk. They don't know us, right? Maybe they've been watching from afar, but people are fucked. And if they saw an alien, they're gonna be
Yeah.
like, "This is
Yeah.
America, and I got 30 guns in my closet. You're dead, buddy. You fucking alien. Not on my property. Don't be treading on me."
We shoot first and ask questions later.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Let God sort them out.
Let God sort them out. Jeez.
No, for sure. You're totally right. You know,
Yeah.
the you know, if aliens showed up and were like, they needed something, which is the only reason they showed up, humans wouldn't just be smart and give it to them, and they'd put up a fight. They'd do some, or they'd freak out and they'd do some dumb shit.
Or either that, or they wouldn't even have the opportunity to. See, I think so many humans have this. They subscribe to this theory of that they're the protagonist at all times, and
Yeah.
you know, actually understanding and coming into contact with extraterrestrials would just shatter
All
everything,
that,
like,
yeah.
right? Where because they'd be like, "Oh, I'm important, and I'm going to meet an alien." It's like they don't give a shit about
Shit
you.
about
And, like,
you.
it'll make you realize, like, nobody in your city gives a shit about you, and then out from there, you know what I'm saying? It's like, why would an alien race need anything from you? You know, like,
And that's such a great point, because like any resource that exists on Earth, there's an Earth-size object in space of just that. Like if they're here for our
Yeah.
gold, right? Well, there's like massive
hydrogen or
collections of
whatever,
gold.
yeah.
Like I think there's something from Star Trek that's like, look at all this worthless gold out here. It's just like in the way because there's so
Right.
much out there, you know? So like, what would they really be here for besides us? You know, besides humans? Like they want us as our, I don't know, fucking pet or something.
So we
Yeah,
are special.
Well, you
Maybe.
know, yeah, we're ants. We're all just
Right.
little ants working for them. You know, that's another way to pick apart the petri dish situation. It's like, are we some kind of let chaos reign experiment, or were we hatched on this planet to serve a purpose, to mine it of its natural reason, to farm it for something so that they didn't physically have to do it? You know, I can always entertain both of those because they're both, you know, interesting and likely to me.
And what if it's right? So what if it's not a physical resource that we consider as humans, right? So it's not the gold or the water or whatever. What if it's just the creation of the energy that the Earth is emitting, right? Like what if it's I hate to put it this way, it sounds too really hippy dippy, but like whatever the negative energy of just whatever, like the, you know, because you can tell if you walk in
sure.
the room if they're in a bad mood or a good mood, you feel that energy, right?
Well,
If
that's
the entire world is in fear or something emitting this energy, but that does something for whatever this extraterrestrial race is. That's
no,
what
sure.
they don't need the physical form.
The vampiric energy thread of thought. That kind of goes with the whole reptilian lore thing. They specifically want to harness negative energy, so they instill people in positions of power to persuade that.
And that's the angels and demons thing too, right? Like,
but that, yeah, for sure. But that is something interesting because, you know, like, even when you think about how would you travel around the solar system, you'd have to be using the properties of the solar system. You'd have to be using the magnetic forces of the universe. You couldn't rely on fuel because you could get stuck somewhere. You'd have to, you know, you'd have this craft. That idea, Clint, all I mean to say is very likely, in my opinion. There's that famous astrophysicist who talks about like the types of civilizations, and, you know, type 0 civilization is a civilization that burns fossil fuels and relies on the, you know, finite resources of the planet. A type 1 civilization is completely harness the power of the planet, wind, water, solar, and that's how they power everything. Type 2 is they own and control their entire solar system, and they derive energy. When we're talking about, especially like expanding out across the universe, it's not gold. They're not harvesting gold. It's not. Right. That's not the thing that is of value to them. It would be something that is it is eluded, to us because we only see so much or hear so much, and
it has to be something that doesn't exist in nature, something human made, right?
What's that?
Like what aliens are after, right?
Not necessarily. It could be, but if anything, we're just the tool to get it or build it for them, so that they don't physically have to do it. We're just farmed. That we're like the Minecraft villagers. We're just trapped in our little glass cases, doing the thing, making the yield.
Harvesting carrots
for the overlord, who maybe comes in and slaps us around occasionally.
Yeah.
But they're not real carrots. They're energy carrots.
Yeah, right. Energy carrots, dude. But,
maybe it goes back. Maybe we are the protagonist. Maybe it's the art and the vibrations we create. So,
dude, hell
it's
yeah.
your local band. Need you. They need you.
That immediately justifies so much of my life.
They need the energy that your dubstep music that you make in your bedroom creates.
Yeah, for sure. You're putting out the good vibes out there. Okay, so this, I have to talk about this because this is probably the most ridiculous of the conspiracy lore. There's this conspiracy lore about this place in Dulce, New Mexico. That's an underground base. There's this guy, Phil Schneider, who gave a bunch of talks about it, said he was there to help excavate and build this base under there, but then he ran into this race of aliens and he had to fight them, and they shot off his fingers. It's like some of the craziest shit. 50% of what this guy says can be verified, and the other 50% cannot. But anyways, this Dulce base, this is probably like the most sinister shit that I ever came across. I remember one of my friends heard about it, and it like fucked him up for a good year. He just like couldn't, it disrupted his normal way of thinking. There's like this base underneath this plateau in New Mexico, and it went super far underground, super, deep underground military base. And on one level, there's humans experimenting on aliens. On another level, there's aliens experimenting on humans. On another, there's human-alien hybrids. And then another, there's human-animal hybrids. And then in another one, there's like all these like advanced psycho tests being experimented. But the only reason I'm saying that is because the government has, whether it's because of aliens or not, the government has looked into doing all those things. Like there's every branch of the government has a psychological component. There's some type of psyops division to every branch of the government, for sure. It's like a thing that they've put a lot of money into understanding psychology for a number of different reasons. But then experimenting on animals. The whole reason I'm saying this is because there's a part of me that's like, maybe all the alien stories are just because it's just shit that humans are doing, and the only way that the humans that find out about it can cope with it is that they put it off on aliens. No, humans would never do that. Humans would never experiment on animals in super fucked up ways. Humans would never do that. It would have to be aliens. But what if it's not aliens? What if it's just humans? I don't know.
There's a lot. There's a lot to unpack there.
That was a long thread. But
first of all, again, all this is coming from a guy. Does he actually so he doesn't have fingers, and he lost them in a fight with aliens?
So that his whole thing is, it's a whole fucking story.
You're trying to go down some crazy just deep thing, and I'm like, wait, so the guy with no fingers who built the facility,
his whole thing, Area 51, prime example. That place, they developed crazy plane technology. It's shit that nobody saw, and when people would see it, to them it would be a UFO because they had never seen a blackbird. They'd never seen a stealth aircraft of any kind. They'd never seen a massive drone aircraft. they would see them and think that they're aliens. Like this Phil Schneider guy, he has like the bona fides to like say, I am a structural engineer. I've worked on contracts for this person and this agency and this and that and this and that. But then he has like this super hard to believe outlandish story. You know, again, he probably did see an underground military base. Maybe he even did come across some sinister shit, but it wasn't aliens. It was just some fucked up experimentation that the government was doing for biochemical engineering research or nuclear research or whatever. You know, I don't know.
Because it doesn't take aliens to try to take human and animal DNA and mix them together.
This is what I'm saying. And to me, like when I look at all the people who say that they've been abducted by aliens, they all get hypnotized and they all undergo like this similar line of questioning. And it's like, how much of the alien is just the coping mechanism for whatever shit is fucked up in their mind? Like the alien is just what that becomes the image of the negativity, not, you know, whatever actual negative thing is in their life. They're just regressing.
Right. Whatever.
They're stuffing the memory under the shell of, you know, their icon of an alien. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, okay. I'll come out. I honestly feel like I was abducted one time.
Go on.
As I'm like, you're not the fucking protagonist. I'm like, but I'm special. They came to me.
Right. Into you.
Crazy thing, right? And anytime you say this, everybody's like, yeah, whatever, right? But I'm not the dude with the, you know, I'm not Earl on the edge
stupid glasses on. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I'm not the guy with the glasses. No, it was a strange thing. So my wife and I had just started dating. She came over to my place and we hang out as you do, right? Feeling good. It wasn't, you know, a particularly late night, maybe 10 p.m. or so. And then next thing you know, we wake up the next morning and we're both naked, which is cool, right? Because, you know, that might happen anyways, right? But you would assume that like we would get drunk and remember that act, right?
Yeah.
We didn't. You know, I think there was maybe, and of course, right, there's always some weird thing, right? But it's not like I drank a bunch of beer. We had alcohol, but like there was one, maybe two beers missing, all there. And it's not like we were just so tired that we just banged and fell asleep because we didn't even remember it. We just woke up and went about our day. But I woke up on the floor. She woke up on the other side of the room on a couch, and I was just on the floor, and it was very strange, right? And I remember waking up to a giant bang, like a and then we both got up as in like a weird hypnotized state. We didn't talk about it, right? Like we just got up and we're like, okay, we'll go about our day, right? And then it took weeks. And then finally I was like, hey, like there's been something I've been thinking about. Do you remember, you know, like when we hung out like this time, do you remember waking up and feeling like something was like out of sorts? And she was like, yes. She was like, now that I'm like thinking about it, it kind of comes back to me in waves, but like, yes, I remember like coming to your house and getting there. And then I don't remember anything. And nobody else was there. It was just me and her. And I just remember waking up naked the next day on the couch, and you were like on the other side of the room on the floor. And I was like, yeah, man, super weird. And nothing weird happened, but she also claims that she has a tiny scar that she had never had before, and she didn't notice it until like that week. Well, I know, real crazy, right? Real crazy. But who knows? Who knows? That's just the closest encounter I've had.
I have 3 questions about this. What kind of beer was it? Did you leave it in the sun, and did you drink more of it later? You really like the beer.
So, judging by the time in my life, I worked at the mall. So it was definitely Pabst Blue Ribbon. It was a 12-pack of Pabst Blue Ribbon. I did not leave it in the sun. I stopped and got it at the same gas station that I would go to after work. And of course I drank the rest of it because I didn't have any money. Yeah.
So the beer was legit. It must be aliens.
This message brought to you by Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah.
No, and that's the whole thing. And there's all those little
Ribbon.
holes in it, right? Where I'm just like, hey, like there's this factor and this factor, but it's like James, you know me. I used to party hard, right? A beer or two would not knock me out, especially her too. Like, and it was both of us.
No.
Just done. And and we wake up, and I even like asked my neighbors like the next day. I was like, "Did you guys hear like a loud bang? Was there like something like construction or something going on?" And they're like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." And I was like, I woke up to like a vibration of like, I don't know, felt super crazy. And then the weird part about it is neither one of us talked about it, and it kind of just came to us over the next little while. It wasn't, because you would think if we woke up naked, we'd be like, "Hey, what happened last night?" That was super. We both just got up and we're just like, "Oh, okay, well, here we go. We go work now." Like,
and this was before you guys were married too, so it's not like you guys were, living together totally at the point where you wouldn't acknowledge that. Normally.
We were like dating. And like that's the whole thing. Like if you went over to a guy's house, you had just started dating, and you woke up naked, you'd be like, you would assume, right?
The fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
I would have gotten me too'd real quick, but no, it was the aliens.
Yes, the aliens. Definitely. So do you either of you guys know who Stephen Greer is? He's very popular in the alien space, but he takes like a really unique approach to it. So his whole thing, going back to the energy thing, is positive energy, right? Meditating,
baby,
and putting out this positive energy. And he created this thing called, I think it's CS5 or something. It's the protocol for contacting alien life. This all sounds really fucking hippie, right? This guy has some of the craziest shit on video. He'll go out into the middle of fucking nowhere with these groups of people, and they'll just meditate. And like these crazy light formations will appear in the sky and change color and zip across the sky. And it's super unassuming because he's not out there. He's not trying to capture footage of aliens. He's just out there trying to commune with them. Now he's got a whole crazy fucking backstory where, he was being leaked this information for a very long period of time. He was at the forefront of the Disclosure Project and getting this information to be more openly discussed the way it is now, kind of. But honestly, like some of the shit that it's, in my opinion, is some of the most tangible evidence, just because it's exactly what a UFO is, an unidentified flying object. And they capture these things all the time, and they just meditate. And that's the meditation sends out the beacon, and that's the form of communication. This, we're talking about an organism that's mastered interstellar travel. They might just be above, regional dialects. But I have never been abducted, but all I'm saying is that there's like, some of the shit is crazy. Like the way that the lights appear, it's like there's the lights of the communication. They are communicating, I don't know. I just need to go back to therapy, because then I'll remember. I need to go back to hypnotherapy, and I'll remember all the times.
This is what happens when three weirdos get together and try to prove if aliens are a scam or not.
Yeah. I would say
slowly unpacking.
Yeah, I would say at least 5% of this show was spent talking about anal probes too, so that's pretty solid.
I mean, pretty good. We can talk about it more if you want. What is your favorite? No, I'm just...
Anal probes brought to you by Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah.
Probes Blue Ribbon.
Blue Ribbon, yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Free 12-pack with every suppository. Yep. It's they come in new suppository cans. You don't even have to crack them open. Just stick them up there.
Another thing. What now? If you were to meet an extraterrestrial or come in contact with them, and you got one question, what would it be?
It's a good one.
I would, my answer, I feel like, is like a cheap one, right? Like I would try to come up with something that's super open-ended that you have to over explain, and you get a lot of information, right? Like mine would be like really knowledge seeking, right?
That's just a good sales tactic, right? You ask the open-ended question. Yeah. Worst things you ask somebody and they're like, no. And then you're done.
Yeah.
It would be, how can we travel these like long distances as humans? Like how did they get? It's like basically, how did you get here? What is the technology? Can you like fold the universe to skip large like sections of time and space? I would be afraid that it would be simple, and the answer is you can't. Next, bye.
Yeah.
But I think
Another
if
form
you have
of
one,
no.
exactly, you have one chance, right? And I think like this is where we started, was like, we want to get out of Earth and like for curiosity's sake, and just like for that insurance policy of what happens when Earth is dried up and no more. I want to know how can we do that? How can we harness that technology?
Do you even think you have what it takes to live in a post-world life? I don't even know if I could survive on Mars. I'd just be like, screw it, dude. I'm not doing this over again, right?
If they have good Wi-Fi, I'd probably be all right.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be that bad. It wouldn't be much different from today,
No Wi-Fi, no peace.
Yeah.
They got 5G up there. You're good.
Oh, they have 5. I don't know if I want to go if they got 5G up there.
That's how the 5G is going to infect your brain, dude. Didn't you know that?
I live in the middle of nowhere, right? And I put foil in my walls to make a Faraday cage. I'm wired in.
It's fucking genius.
Not Wi-Fi, wired in.
Well, and that would be the worst part too, right? Because let's say, they're not going to send their most important representative to communicate with humans too. They're sending like either some kind of foot soldiers, or it was like an accident, right? Like you're talking to some like redneck, like low IQ alien or something,
Yeah.
You send out
the wrong
he's
term.
like, hey, what do y'all want? I saw some lights over here. What are y'all doing?
I thought this was a gas station.
Merry Christmas. The shitter was full.
I saw
That's what they're doing on my lawn.
Saw a sign for free food. Free beer and naked ladies.
Yeah.
They if I could ask a fucking alien one question, I don't know if I would want to know history. I definitely wouldn't want to know anything meaning, because meaning is completely subjective. Yeah, it would probably be the knowledge of some kind of advanced technology, or the question would be, can I have some of this technology?
Again,
I don't care how it works. Just can I have it? Yeah, exactly. Well, I run that risk in any way, but like at the I'm sure a lot of people's default would be like, what's the meaning of life, or what's the meaning of existence? And like, I already know what the answer to that is, and it's what I expect. Wait, but most people don't want to hear it.
You already know the meaning of life.
Sure don't. I have an inkling that it's not going to be what humans think it is. That's for sure. We're far too narrow in our scope. We've got these stupid glasses on and we can't see anything because they're so big.
I feel like that could be a whole episode, the meaning of life, and like going through. There's so much to think about there that I wouldn't even know where to begin.
No, for sure. Like,
is life totally legit? I don't know.
Yeah, oh. I think my question to them would be, what should we talk about next week? And I want to thank everybody for joining us today.
Well, hey, no, seriously, we got a new topic already. So we'll be back on the next one. Totally legitimate business podcast. We
Comment
found our
on this
scam.
video. Comment on this video if you want to be in it.
Be in it. If you can be in it, if you comment on it. You got to comment on it.